trying to get the mic to work. Hello? I'm trying to get the mic to work. Is the mic working? Are we working now? Hello, can you hear me? Is the mic working? Aha! Are we working now? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, perfect. Hello. Is the mic working? Aha! Sorry, guys. I got a new mic. Are we working now? Hello, can you hear me? And okay, hello. It's been giving me issues. Aha! Sorry, guys. I got a new mic. And hello. It's been giving me issues. Sorry, guys. I got a new mic. And it's been giving me issues. Oh boy. Hold on. Hello. Oh boy. Hold on. Okay, I think we're working now. I think we are working now. Can everybody hear me? Oh boy, where'd chat go? Oh god, I'm so bad at this streaming thing. Okay, I think we're working now. I think we are working now. Wait, can you guys hear me now? Oh god, I'm so bad at this streaming thing. How's the mic volume? Wait, can you guys hear me now? Audible but low. Oh god. Okay. Let's see. How's the mic volume? It shouldn't be low now. My mic is all the way up, as a matter of fact. Oh god. Okay. Let's see. How's the mic volume? Okay. Well, we're just gonna do no background music until I figure this garbage out. All the way up, as a matter of fact. Okay. Hello, everybody. How are you? Happy Sunday. I guess I can just talk straight into the mic like this, and then it should be better. All right, Good Leftovers wants to know what editing software I use and what kind of camera do I use. Well, I use Adobe Premiere and Adobe After Effects mainly. But for those of you that have been asking me for HitFilm tutorials, I reached out to HitFilm. They sent me a license to the software, and I'm going to start using it in the next coming week or two. And then I will do some tutorials on HitFilm because it's a free software and a lot of people don't want to pay for Adobe products. So we're going to do that, which is pretty cool. So be on the lookout for that. And the camera that I use is the Sony RX100 Mark V, this little guy right here. It is perfect for making YouTube videos. I've come to find out it has a fixed lens on it, and it has a screen that flips up so I can just put it on a tripod, and I have a ring light right here, which you can't see, but I can turn this. So there you go. I got a ring light right there, and the tripod for it is right here. And so I just pop up the camera on the tripod and the ring light, and with this little guy right here, it looks really nice. So that's what I use to shoot all my YouTube videos. I love this camera, by the way. Is it still that low? Oh my God. Okay. All right. Lab Fortnite wants to know if I have any recommendations for a good laptop that can handle Premiere Pro for simple gaming and video editing. Well, it all depends on your budget. I've come to find out that have you ever seen that Venn diagram, like the cheap, fast, good thing? Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. Because this is actually a prime example. Aha. All right. So this is the prime example of buying anything that is good for any reason. How do I zoom in on this stupid thing? All right. Here we go. This is the perfect example, right? So we have good, fast, and cheap. If you want a combination of good and cheap, this is for like post-production or production related stuff, right? So if you want it good and cheap, it's going to take time to deliver because you're just going to work on it less in order to make it good for less amount of money, right? But if you want it good and fast, it's going to be more expensive. And if you want it fast and cheap, it's going to be poor quality. So this can apply to pretty much anything, I think, in the world, right? And you can do it to buying a laptop too. So if you want it to be good and cheap, it's going to take a lot of time to find that specific laptop. If you want it good and fast, it's obviously going to be expensive. And if you want it fast and cheap, it's not going to be good quality. And there's like an impossible middle where you can't get all three at the same time. So if you want a laptop that can game and also do Premiere and that kind of stuff, I think you just have to look around for it. I would recommend getting something with a really fast processor and a pretty decent graphics card. At work, we're sponsored by Alienware. So, you know, I'm kind of partial to the Alienware laptops because I have to use them all the time. So if you can afford an Alienware laptop, I would recommend doing that. And guys, by the way, if you're young and you're starting out, and you can do two things here, right? You can open up a credit card and you can build your credit. And so the only thing that you'll have to do is remember to pay your credit card on time. So if you open up a credit card and you get $1,000 limit for your first credit card, right? You can put $1,000 on the card and then pay it off like $100 a month over the course of 10 months. And then you've bought something that's $1,000, you've paid it off every month, and you're also building your credit. A lot of young people that I talk to don't understand the importance of building credit or understand really what it is. But I got a credit card when I was 18 and I started to like put a lot of stuff on it. And like I bought a camera and put it on there, and then I would just pay it off over time. And you build your credit and you can afford things that are a little outside of your price range because you're basically paying it off over time. So this isn't going to be a lesson in credit, though. Okay, let's see. People are asking for the GameCube tutorial. I know. Do I know LumaFusion? I think this editor is underrated. No, I have never heard of that before. I only really use Adobe. Can I make a tutorial on how to make a song made out of a meme? What do you mean by that? Hello, Philippines. Thank you, Heck Lawless. I'm not going to upload this week. I've been really busy. Hold on. Let me try to mute this, actually. Okay, I see what's going on here. All right, there we go. This should be much better for you guys. I got to figure out this freaking mic thing. Okay, I see what's going on here. All right, there we go. This should be much better for you guys. I got to figure out this freaking mic thing. Okay, I see what's going on here. All right, now we should be good. Yeah, at one point when I was using OBS, like I was just using my camera mic and like it worked totally fine. Now that I have this mic here, it makes it significantly harder for me to do anything for some stupid reason. All right. Zen wants to know, well, hold on, let's catch up. Hold on. Can I show the GameCube tutorial live in here? Yeah. Okay. I will open up the project that I started for the GameCube meme and I'll show you guys why I haven't done the video yet, because it's actually really complicated, but I'll get to that in a second. Okay, let me catch up on the chat. Is there an easy and cheap way to calibrate a monitor? Yeah, kind of. I mean, a lot of monitors will come and they'll say like 95% color accurate, which is kind of true, I suppose, but not. You can buy a little like monitor calibrator thing that goes on the monitor. You can also rent them, I believe, from like ShareGrid or something. I don't know where you live, but you can rent them for a day for like $10, calibrate your monitor, and then give it back to somebody who has it, which I've done before. Have I done any post-production on 360 video footage? Yes, I have. It is difficult, and I kind of decided early on that 360 video and like VR video just isn't quite there yet for me to really get excited and get on board with it. So I kind of abandoned 360 video and VR video. All right. How much should a professional editor get paid for a 50-second promotional video? Good question, Zen. Zen? Zen. Z-E-Y-N. Zen. Okay. So there are a couple different ways that you can get paid as a video editor. You can get paid per project or you can get paid per hour. Okay. I know editors that charge $150 an hour. I also know editors that charge $20 an hour, and they're both equally good editors. So it really depends on the client, and it really depends on how badly you want the work. If you're kind of desperate for money and you really need the work, lower your hourly rate to something that's reasonable for somebody to pay you, because you essentially need to make the money, right? But if you're working another full-time job and you don't necessarily need the money and you don't think that you have the time, you can upcharge a little bit. And if they decide to go with somebody else, it's not really going to hurt you in the end. But for a 60-second spot, I would charge by the hour. And I would also tell them that any revisions that are going to be made to the spot is going to be incorporated in the hourly fee. And then you have to estimate how long you think it'll take you, right? So I'm just going to use round numbers. $25 an hour. I think it's going to take me 3 hours to do this video. So it's going to be $75. And then I'll give you 3 revision rounds on whatever I make. And each revision round is going to incorporate more time into the hourly rate. So the initial edit's going to take me 3 hours at $25 an hour. That's $75. And then I'm going to estimate that all 3 revision rounds are going to take me another 2 hours, which is $50. So $125 total. And I'll do this thing for you, right? We're just using round numbers for math, but I would always recommend to charge by the hour, because if you charge by the project and they're like, hey, I'm going to give you $100 to do this thing, and it ends up taking you 10 hours, that's just like not worth it at that point. Like, you're spending so much more time and not getting enough out of it to warrant doing the project. So I would always recommend charging by the hour. Hold on, I'm catching up on the chat. Every once in a while, text in Premiere will be confined to a box, and if I move the text box beyond the box, it'll disappear. Yes. Okay. So Brandon is talking about the new title tool in Premiere, which is so bad. Hold on. Let me open up Premiere. Yeah, the title tool in Premiere is really, really bad. I really don't like it at all. I do all of my text treatment in either After Effects or Photoshop. I try to never use the Premiere title tool because it's just so freaking awful. Let me open up a project real quick so I can show you what he's talking about. This is the video that I was going to do this week. We were going to do a keyframe tutorial, and I was going to talk about keyframes and the various types of keyframes and what you can do inside of Premiere versus Linear and Bezier, and how you can adjust the velocity of each keyframe with the velocity generator here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that'll probably be the next tutorial. or a hit film tutorial. I don't know. All right, so he is talking about creating text in Premiere and doing something like text, right? And if you make it too big and it's here and it goes off screen, now if I were to move this with like the position parameters, it's actually cutting the text off, which is really, really super annoying. So what you have to do is actually make sure that the text is inside of the bounding box in Premiere. Because if you make the text too big, or you have like a really long thing of text and it's cut off, and then you try to take this and move it with the positioning data, it's going to cut it off. So what you have to do is make sure that your text is fully in the like final output window or whatever. And what you could also do is come up to the graphics tab at the top. You can click on edit, and then you can edit your text, and you can center it here, or you can adjust the text size here, and you can do like all of your adjustments in the graphics tab. And then that way you don't have to worry about using any of the positioning data in the effect controls panel. Oh yeah. Hey, how are you? I'm really good. Stopped watching one of your videos to watch this. That's hilarious. We're just doing the live stream. What is a lower third? So a lower third is text that appears in the lower third of a video to kind of introduce who is on screen or who is speaking or whatever. So if I had, a video clip of me, maybe I have a picture of me somewhere on my desktop. I guess we'll find out right now. Yes, the Twitter profile picture. Okay. So if I have a picture or a video of me, here it is right there, boom, and say I'm on screen and I'm doing an interview, and this is me doing the interview, I'm going to make text that is a lower third, that is in the lower third of the screen. And then I would make that text have, valuable information. So I would have this say, why can't I edit this here? That's so, oh, there we go. So I would have it say like not Ian Sands, and then underneath like video editor. And now this will be in the lower third. God, I hate this stupid editing mode. Okay, there we go. And I would have this be down here as a lower third. And then those can be animated or those can be whatever. But basically, it's just information that's presented in the lower third of the frame to let people know who they're listening to and to give valuable information or to call out like social media handles or anything like that. Can you use 3D objects in After Effects without Element 3D? I don't think so. I am not a 3D artist. I don't really work much with 3D. I have Element 3D just for doing like very simple text and very simple objects, but I don't think you can use normal 3D objects in After Effects without some sort of 3D program. What I did download the other day is a program called Houdini, which seems really dope. And it's like 3D modeling and 3D effects and visual effects, which is free to use like just as a normal person. And then if you wanted to do like a commercial project or something besides that, then you have to pay for it. But Houdini is pretty cool. I started using it the other day. Can you make a video about how to change lighting or effects like disco light and stuff in After Effects? Yes, I will do that. After Effects has a really powerful and cool like internal lighting mechanism thing in After Effects. So I'll definitely do a video on that one day. Perfect volume. What was the problem? So OBS is only monitoring my desktop audio for some reason. And I can only talk to you guys via desktop audio. And it's not registering my mic for some stupid reason, but I'll get that fixed for later. Because when I did my initial test recording, everything sounded great. And I was like, oh man, this is perfect. But it's not monitoring my audio properly. So maybe I have to switch over to Streamlabs or something. I don't know. OBS is pissing me off. It's pissing me off. Advice for multicam editing. So this may come as a surprise to some of you. I actually don't like multicam editing. And maybe it's because I've never been put in a position where I actually need to use it the way it's supposed to be used. I much prefer manually switching between cameras because I do a lot of like documentary style stuff. And so I don't ever edit traditional like live things where it's like fully live. And if you're doing a fully live thing, like if I'm editing a music concert, right, and each song is its own video, like, yeah, I would probably use multicam editing because you're just going to want to switch back and forth between cameras seamlessly. But I never really have a use for it. So I can't give you any really good tips on that. Apologies. All right. Virgo wants to know how you would do quick shaking in videos like the triggered memes. So I have a video on this already, but I will show you anyway right here because it's super easy. So if I wanted to quickly shake this video in the frame, I'm going to set a scale and position keyframe, and then I'm going to go one frame over, and maybe I'm going to scale this up to 190, and then I'm going to move this position down and over, one frame over, maybe, and then I'm just going to keep going over one frame and just moving my position to various distances here. There you go. And if I wanted to now, I can just copy and paste all of these keyframes next to each other right there. Boom, boom, boom. And now I've created a very quick jittering keyframe animation. And it was super easy. And then what I could also do is I could right click on the motion tab under the effect controls, and I can go to save preset, and then I can save that shake as a custom preset so that I could just drop that on anything that I wanted to. And that's kind of how you do the quick shake triggered meme type thing. Super easy. Any tips for success on YouTube? Well, I never thought I'd have any success on YouTube, to be honest. When I first started the channel, a friend of mine was like, hey, you should, because he was constantly asking me for editing advice. He was like, hey, how do I do this? Hey, how do I do this? And he was also a YouTuber. His name is Obese to Beast, John Glaude, great dude, love him to death. But he was asking me a bunch of questions on how do I do this on YouTube? How do I do this? How do I edit like this? And I was telling him, and he was like, dude, you should just make a YouTube channel. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's not a bad idea. So as far as success on YouTube goes, you have to kind of quality content, I guess, like not stupid throwaway content. I know that a lot of my earlier videos, if you guys have been subscribed to me for a while, were kind of stupid. Like I was like really overly animated and like really, I don't know. I was just trying to do it way differently than most people. Cause I actually studied on-camera talent in college. That was one of my, I double majored, and one of them was on-camera talent. So I've always kind of wanted to be on TV or on camera or as a host of something. So I was trying to go like way aggressive on my style. And then as my channel started growing, I toned it down a lot, and I was like, okay, I need to actually start providing useful information to people and not just be a dumb character that annoys people. So providing useful information 100% is like number one. And then number two is consistency. So once I started uploading once a week, or as close to once a week as I possibly could with my schedule, that's really when I think I started to see the numbers start growing. So yeah, consistency and quality of content, I think is going to be the success for anybody trying to create a YouTube channel out there, or to do anything, especially in the tutorial space. You know, there's a million different ways to do it. And like this little like meme triggered shake thing, for example, there may be other tutorials out there that show you how to do it differently, but this is the way that I learned, and this is the way that I know how to do it. So I'm going to teach you guys how I do it. And you also have to be open to being wrong. Like I've done tutorials where someone's like, oh, why didn't you just do this thing instead? And I'm like, oh, damn, that's actually a really good suggestion. Like, I don't know why I didn't do that. So be open to feedback as well. To be continued meme. What is a to be continued meme? All right, we're learning today. I'm sorry. I'm very out of touch with meme culture. I work in esports. All right, let's see.
You think you are superheroes, but this isn't a comic book.
I have to watch this whole ad? For the love of God.
The world will see what we are capable of.
All right, let's see.
Open the blinds and maybe we're gonna see some stars out today.
Okay, I didn't know this was a thing. But all it is a freeze frame with the to be continued arrow on it. So let's see if I can I definitely spelled arrow wrong. There it is. To be continued arrow. Okay, so I'm just going to download this. Let's see if I can find a good one. That's not it. God, is this really my... Oh, God, it's so small. All right, well, so I'm going to save this image onto the desktop. Okay, sure. And then I'm going to open Photoshop. And we're going to do this real easily, guys. This is one of the easiest memes I've ever seen in my life. So I'm going to create new. We'll do it 1080. And I'm going to drag that into Photoshop. There you go. We're going to make it nice and big. Turn off my background layer. And now I'm going to erase the background of this arrow. There you go. Save this now to this. Boom. And then we just got to find some video. Let's see. Which video can I use? Oh, God. Go to my archive. Look at how many projects I've done, guys. This is insane. So we'll just drop in my editing reel because I don't really know what else to do. So essentially what you would do is you would download the song, the dun, 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 and I recommend using 4K video downloader for that. It's super easy to download pretty much anything from YouTube. I'm going to drop in my arrow comp into Premiere, and then I'm going to find the video that I want to do it to. All right, so I'm going to take that, drop it onto my timeline, and then you would just go to a point in the video that you want it to freeze frame, cut your clip, right-click on it, add frame hold, and then you would turn this to black and white. So you can come over to the color tab, and then I can just very simply desaturate this. Whoop, desaturate, and then you drop the arrow on top of it, and then make it the appropriate size. There you go. To be continued meme. Boom. Easy. It's just a freeze frame and turning it to black and white. That took a really long time. Okay. Let me catch up on chat. Oh, God. Hold on. Catching up on chat. Oh, no. There's so many people. I'm sorry. I'm going so slow. Is it a great idea to stay at Premiere Pro CC 2018 with 16 gigs of RAM? That squid, if that's all you have access to, yeah, I'd say you can definitely stay there. Not a problem. That should be enough to do basic stuff. It depends on your processor too. Like RAM is not the only thing in your computer that matters when you're doing any sort of editing. It's processor, it's graphics card, and RAM. Like those are like the three things that you kind of need to be really pro. So if you have at least decent ones of all of those, then you're in good shape. All right. David is asking, can you show which tabs you have on your screen? So at the top, I have the learning tab, which is that a new thing? Oh, God, I hate that. So I have learning, assembly, editing, color, effects, audio, graphics, and then all panels. And so I use just the standard editing like layout. And then when I go to do my color correction, I use the color window. Like I just bounce back and forth between these two. And I have a lot of my keyboard shortcuts kind of set up custom to me so that I can just work seamlessly in those two panels without too much trouble. So those are kind of the ones that I have at the top. And then up here, I always have my audio track mixer up to do audio levels. We don't have any audio in this composition, but I always have audio track mixer up and my effect controls. But pretty much I use the stock editing tab for almost everything I do. Why third in lower third? Well, in filmmaking, the screen is divided up into thirds as like a composition thing, right? So if you go to Google and you type in rule of thirds, it will show you kind of compositionally why the rule of thirds. So a lower third traditionally is in the lower third of the screen. So if you're dividing it up into thirds, this is the bottom third. So a lower third will either happen in the leftmost third or the rightmost third, depending on where your subject is framed. So if my subject is framed on the left-hand side, I'm probably going to put my lower third on the right. And conversely, if my subject is on the right, I will put the lower third on the left. It's just a composition thing and like seeing things in thirds. That's a preferred method in filmmaking. Somebody wrote something in Russian that I can't read, but hello. Basic things that every editor should know in Adobe Audition. Interesting. I will do a video on that, actually. That's good. I'm going to start writing these ideas down. I'll go back through the chat and start writing these ideas down. I'm a beginning editor and I'm bad at it, so I watch you, but I've recently figured out that you can find free templates for everything. Do you think that it is cheating if I can't make templates I use? I don't think templates is cheating. And I did my how to make a YouTube intro tutorial and I was like, haha, I bought a template, surprise. And everyone was like, what? How? Okay, here's my theory. I give it all the time. Time is money, right? So I can pay $40 for a template, or in this case, you can find a template for free and use it. Now, you can do two things. You can just overuse a template and never learn anything, or you can find a template and like deconstruct it and understand how the template works and be like, oh, okay, that's really interesting. I'm going to use this technique in something that I do. And you can learn from the template. Templates are supposed to be used as a learning tool and not as a crutch to just continue to do something without learning. That's my whole thought process. So if the time is money thing, I can pay $20 for a template and I can edit that template and have a product within 30 minutes, right? Or I can try to make that thing myself and it could take hours or days. And how much of my time is being wasted or not worth it if I can just pay $20 to get a template? You know, like I don't know. I'm okay with templates, but I'm only okay with templates if you're learning from them or changing them enough in a way to make it your own. Like my YouTube intro template, I spent a while going through and like turning off layers and like adjusting things and like making sure that like colors were different and all this stuff. So it wasn't the exact replica of the thing that I bought. So if you're just taking a template and recycling it and using it exactly how you would, I don't recommend doing that. How to fix your timeline video playback. All right, JM10 is asking how to fix his timeline video playback. Well, there's two things that you can do on a timeline. One, you can just set your in and out point around the video that you're editing, and you can come up here to sequence and render into out, and that will render your timeline. That will fix your playback. Or you can come up here underneath the final output window where it says like full, and you can change your resolution to half resolution or quarter resolution right underneath your video. And then that will drop the quality of your video down when it's unrendered so that it will play back a little bit more seamlessly. But I always recommend rendering your timeline to kind of watch things through in real time without having any hiccups. Can you do a tutorial on Ome Wu Sinduru or to be continued? Okay. Memes. I'm just a meme editing channel now. Dominic says, hey, I love your videos. What's your favorite plugin? Well, my favorite plugin is Red Giant Universe. I love it. It's $100 a year to use it, and it comes with a lot of really, really amazing things. And so if I were to come in here to my effects and I come to video effects, Red Giant Universe down here, there's so many different things. Stylize is always a good one for me. So you can come in here and say, oh, I want to now grade this like a noir style video. And then it can come in here and it will add different various things. And then they have a bunch of really cool presets that you can use for all of the various effects. So if I come down here and drop in VHS effect, I can come in here to browse presets, and it gives me a bunch of different VHS effects, and all of those I can come in here and tailor make like in the actual plugin. And it's a really, really useful tool for a lot of like different effects. I love Red Giant Universe. Another person asking about video playback, render. Always be rendering. Spike is saying he's 15 and thinking about buying the Creative Cloud for $20 a month. Is it worth it? If you really like video editing and it's something that you want to pursue and it's something that you want to get into, absolutely, it's worth it. Like if this is the one thing that you're passionate about and this is something that you want to try to make a career out of, or you want to try to do for a living, 100% worth the cost every single time. But stay tuned. I will be doing video tutorials on HitFilm, which apparently is like a free video editing software. And from what I've seen so far, it's actually really, really cool because it's like the perfect blend of After Effects and Premiere, like in one program. So I haven't quite figured out how to use it yet, but I will be doing tutorials on that in the future because I think it's really powerful and it's free, which is obviously great. Adiata Khan says, can you show me how to do pump and shake? I have a video on that already. Search my YouTube channel for screen pumps and you will find a video on that. How do you know all this? Well, I've been doing this for a long time, ladies and gentlemen. In high school, my friends and I kind of started a YouTube channel together, and we didn't know anything about filmmaking at the time, and we just learned through trial and error. And then after I graduated high school, I went to film school in Chicago, and I studied television production and post-production, and I've been working professionally as an editor since about 2009. 2008 maybe, I don't know. I've been doing this for a long time, so that's how I know all of it. This has just been something that I've been doing professionally for a very long time. Julia says, yo, wanted to say congrats on the promotion at OneUp. Thank you so much. For those of you that don't know, I got promoted to director of OneUp Studios, no longer director of post-production. So I'm handling kind of everything for OneUp Studios. If you guys don't know what OneUp Studios is, or Team Liquid is, I work at Team Liquid as the director of OneUp Studios. So all of the content that Team Liquid does, both internally and externally, is kind of me and my team, and we handle all that stuff, which is all very fun and cool. Can you make a video on basic sound mix in Premiere? Yes, I absolutely will do that. Change the color of the timestamp numbers. I don't know what you're talking about there. What is the best way to jump into Premiere Pro? Well, first you got to get it. Then you got to learn it and spend a lot of time knowing what every little thing inside of Premiere does, because the faster you can get the idea from your head into the computer is going to be the best thing for you, 100%. Anyone here have Windows 7 and installed Premiere Pro CC 2019 on it? I don't know if it works on Windows 7. Hey, is it possible to edit for a living without health possibility to stand by the desk 10 hours straight? I think you're asking about like taking a part-time job as an editor, which yes, that's absolutely possible. I've been editing for a very long time and I don't have any lasting health concerns. I don't think. I go to the gym often. I eat pretty healthy. I eat pretty clean. My eyes still work, so that's good. Did I just Juul? No, I did not. I have a different vape that I use. Don't smoke. How to stop procrastinating? That's a great question. Wait, where is that? Where'd it go? Wait, where'd that question go? God damn it. Oh, there it is. How to stop procrastinating. Great question, everybody. This is something that I think everybody should know. And the short answer is you just have to do it yourself, right? You have to set deadlines. You have to set goals for yourself, and you have to set a time limit on things that you want to do. If you're doing something for a client and you're being paid for work, you probably shouldn't procrastinate very much. If you're doing something for yourself, I totally understand procrastination. I totally understand like, oh, I don't know if I really want to do this, blah, blah, blah. But if you're doing something for yourself, set a goal, set a deadline, set a time frame for yourself, and set micro goals along the way. So if I'm saying I want to do a video in a week, so day 1, I'm shooting all my video. Day 2, I want to have all the video footage in Premiere. I want to have gone through everything so I know what's there. Day 3, I want to have a rough timeline. Day 4, I want to have a final timeline, like picture locked. I feel good about it. And then day 5, I'm doing an audio mix and color grade or whatever. And then I'm putting it out on day 5. You have to set little micro goals for yourself throughout the whole process, or else the procrastination cycle will just be never ending. Okay, sorry, I'm catching up on chat. Can you give some advice on how to get your foot in the door as a professional editor? Have a resume, have a reel, that's pretty much it, right? And then you just go online and you look for people that are looking for video editing jobs. And then you send them your reel, you send them your resume, and you send them a cover letter, and you just say, you have to know about the company that you're applying for. A lot of people will just blindly apply to jobs. They're like, somebody's hiring for a video editor position, and then they just apply for it, and you don't know what you're applying to. It could be like a beauty manufacturing company that wants to do makeup tutorials, and they're looking for somebody to put all that together. And then when they hit you up, they go, what experience do you have doing makeup tutorials? And you're like, none. And that just makes you look really bad. So know what you're applying for, know a little bit about the company, and try to convince them why you think that you'd be a helpful addition to the company. Like, so you just kind of have to look, you have to have a reel, you have to have at least, for me, I base a lot of stuff off of the reel and not necessarily the resume, because resumes are boring to look at. I don't know. I'm a creative person. I like to visualize and see your work. And so I think a reel is very, very important. And also knowing about the jobs that you're applying for and just going out and doing it. Please play some background music. All right. I will. Well, let's see. I'll try to turn it down a little bit. How's the volume on that? Is it good? I don't really know. All right, let me know about the background music here. Is that a respectable level? I'm scrolling all the way down. All right. It's good. Music volume is good. What school do you need to take that job? So for me, editing is one of those things where you don't necessarily need to go to school for. If you have a very profound technical knowledge. All right. I saw somebody say it's a little bit loud. I'm going to turn it down a little. If you have a very good technical knowledge of how to edit, that kind of trumps going to school for it, in my opinion. That is just my opinion. A lot of people will say different things about it, but if you have a very profound technical knowledge of the program that you're using, that to me trumps school, because you'll learn more out of school than in school. Where do you get your background music? I'm currently playing from Spotify, my Discover Weekly playlist. Hey! LCD pixel screen. Search if you don't know what is that. Well, LCD pixel screen can mean a lot of different things. Please explain. Would you recommend Premiere for new editors? Yes, I would. I would only recommend Premiere for new editors if you're planning on getting into the video editing space professionally. That's what I would recommend. So a lot of places will say, need to have a good knowledge of Adobe Premiere or whatever. So if you're trying to do this professionally, then I think you should absolutely learn Premiere and have a good base knowledge of Premiere, because a lot of people will use that. Is Premiere Pro better than Sony Vegas? I mean, an NLE, which is nonlinear editing, is an NLE, right? So all editing programs are somewhat created equal, I guess. Some are better than others. I just really like Adobe because it integrates with everything. So I can jump into After Effects and I can do motion graphics and motion design, and then I can jump into Photoshop and I can do graphic design, and I can seamlessly integrate all of these things together in one kind of round trip workflow that works really well for me. I know a lot of people like Final Cut. The new Final Cut looks pretty sick. Again, HitFilm, I guess, is a really good use of somebody's time for somebody looking to get into editing and understand the basics of editing, but not necessarily have to pay for a program. So I will be doing that in the near future. Alex Nav, thank you. Appreciate it. How much effort should you give to making a YouTube thumbnail? Well, it truly depends on what you're trying to go for, right? Because a lot of people with a YouTube thumbnail, it's very easy. You just get some ridiculous image. So let's go over here. I'm going to search I'm going to search Screaming Lady. There you go. There's a good one. And I'm just going to paste this into Photoshop. All right. There you go. And then I'll just write I'll write Premiere sucks. And I'm going to put it in the Fortnite font because that's what's hot these days. I'm going to make it yellow because it's got to be eye-catching. There you go. Premiere sucks. And maybe I'll actually divide this up onto 2 lines. There you go. And I'll center it. There you go. And now I've made a very quick thumbnail for YouTube that is clickbaity AF. So how much time should you put into it? Not much. Not much. Is there any reason for Premiere Pro crashing? How to stop Premiere from crashing? Definitely watch my Premiere settings video if you're having issues with crashing. It could be for a million reasons. If you are crashing, definitely generate the crash report and send it to Adobe and email Adobe and ask them why this would be happening. They can help you much more than I can. Is the channel that you mentioned before still in existence? Yes, it's called FND Films. That's, my friends and I, it was mostly Aaron and Vinny. They started a YouTube channel called FND Films, and I would help them out when I could. And that was my entryway into internet video, was with them. Big fan from India. You make difficult edits look really easy. Good work. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Appreciate it. How to change the preview window from automatically replaying videos and audio in the preview screen. Tried changing preferences with no luck. You should be able to. So if you come up to your preferences in Premiere, edit preferences, I believe it's under timeline. And then right here, at playback end, return to beginning when restarting playback. Turn that off. You probably can't see it, but it's the third one down under timeline. At playback end, return to beginning when starting playback. Turn that off. That's the most annoying setting of all time. I agree. Love from Russia. Thank you. Love from the United States. Oh, I see. LCD pixel screen. Yeah, you're just talking about RGB values. I get it. Kat is asking, can you please do a tutorial on how to copy the effect in One Direction's You and I music video where they change faces and stuff? I will look at that and get back to you. Do the file names of your video and thumbnail files have an impact on the performance of YouTube videos? Yes, 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 yes. Not the thumbnail, but the video title for sure. YouTube has an algorithm that prioritizes things based on keywords. And so if you have a keyword in your title, in your description, and in your tags, it will prioritize that video higher for search results. So for me, if I put like distortion effect Adobe Premiere or something, that has to be in my description and in my tags as well, because people searching for that effect on YouTube, I want to be able to serve them my video, right? So yeah, it absolutely matters. LMAO, the Fortnite font. Yeah, well, the Fortnite font works. Look at that. Look at this clickbait thumbnail. You'd click on that. I know you would. What app do I use to screen record? I use Camtasia to do all my screen recording nonsense. It's pretty good, I guess. It's easy because when you do screen recording, like you can do certain animations and you can like highlight the cursor and do like zoom effects on stuff. So I found it really useful for when I do all my stuff. It has crashed a couple times while I'm recording a video, and that really sucks. That really sucks, but usually it's pretty good. What's the difference between getting Premiere for free by torrenting it or actually paying for it? Well, to my knowledge, you can only torrent like Premiere CS6 because it was a standalone application. Right now, Adobe CC is the Creative Cloud version, and you can't actually torrent it without having an active license. I recommend the active license because they're constantly pushing updates to it all the time, and you want to be able to just update your software as fast as you can. What's the best export setting for getting good quality videos to upload in YouTube? If you are in Adobe Premiere, I recommend when you go to export, so Control M to export, format H.264, and then under preset, I just use the YouTube preset, YouTube 1080p full HD preset. And then there's two other little checkboxes that I check. One is render at maximum depth, and then one is use maximum render quality. And those two checkboxes plus the YouTube preset when you export is what I use for all of my YouTube videos. So if you think that my YouTube videos look good, that's the secret sauce. Where do you find velocity in Adobe? Well, if you're doing any sort of movement, like if I do a scale movement here, and I'll just scale this up. For Premiere, there's a little like arrow next to the scale property or any property that you animate. If you tool that down, you will now have a velocity indicator in Adobe Premiere. So right here, velocity of your scale. And you can make this big and small if you'd like. And you can also change this to easy ease keyframes, and that will kind of show you the velocity curve, and you can adjust this as well. So you can have it go slow and then fast, or you can have it go really fast and then slow. The Adobe Premiere version of velocity is absolute dog shit. It's really bad. It doesn't really work as well as it does in After Effects, which to me is like definitely one of the best ways to use velocity in any sort of, hold on, let me make a thing. 1920 by 1080 be 10 seconds. Cool. With After Effects, it's much easier to do velocity. I'm just going to make a solid. Ooh, I just spilled my coffee. Not good, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. And now for this, if I wanted to do a scale and scale, I'll just scale this up. Make this easy ease. And now I can highlight these keyframes in After Effects and click on the graph editor. And I have a video about this as well. And now the graph editor, I can really go in and do a lot of like really cool velocity stuff in the graph editor. And this is so much nicer than the one in Adobe Premiere. So that's kind of how you do velocity. Graph editing. Maddie, Thank you for the words. I appreciate it. Love from the United States to the Philippines. Does YouTube compress your videos while uploading? Is having larger videos suggested for uploading? Are you talking about larger file size? Or, I mean, YouTube definitely compresses the video a little bit. And besides kicking out like a ProRes export of your videos, which is going to be like an insanely large file size, I don't recommend doing that. I mean, all of it's going to be compressed regardless, so you kind of just have to deal with it. What is the best way to sort out multiple takes when trying to select the best clip? I use colors on my timeline. So if I was going to do anything in here, like say this is a really good, so I would string them all out on a timeline and say like, all right, these are all the clips that I want to use. I would right click then and go to label. And then I use like Mango and Rose as my two main things of like being good takes. And I'll just go through and then I'll go back through to all the Mango ones and I'll just watch those through and be like, oh, okay, yeah. And then pick one from there. How can I export a clip made entirely in After Effects to Premiere to edit it more or something like that? So I'll go into After Effects. After Effects, you can't really export an H.264 directly out of After Effects, but if you've purchased After Effects, you can use Adobe Media Encoder to do your export. So there's a couple different options. If you go to File and you go to Export, add to Render Queue, then in your render queue, you have a couple different options that you can click down here. You can export a QuickTime ProRes now out of After Effects and Premiere, which is super cool. Actually, wait. Oh, I haven't updated After Effects yet, but you can do ProRes now, which is super cool. So you can export directly out of After Effects, or you can add it to Adobe Media Encoder, which will basically give you all of the same functionality that you have inside of Adobe Premiere, and then you can export out of Media Encoder as well. Can you recommend the best settings to save videos with a transparent background in Premiere? What format is better? So you're going to want to use, I believe it's DNX HD. Let me look. Hold on. Let me look. So if you guys are trying to do a transparent background out of Premiere, that's the question. So I'll take this ball and I'll just quickly scale this up. And if I want to export this out of Premiere as an alpha layer, he's asking how to do that. So I believe when you go to export, it is QuickTime as the format. And then under video codec, it is DNX HR, DNX HD. And then for resolution, I believe 444. Yeah, so if you do DNX HR RGB 444 10-bit, match source. Is this the one? No, hold on. I haven't updated Premiere, but you would want to do ProRes. ProRes 422 or 4444. ProRes 4444 with alpha out of Premiere, and that will allow you to do that. But DNX HR 444 10-bit also has a little checkbox down here, use alpha channel. So you can export, I guess, just the channel, but not the actual image. I don't know. That's so weird. Music is so loud. Okay, we'll turn it down. Yeah, format should support alpha and RGB, correct. How did I come up with Not Ian Sands, and do you have a Twitter? Yes, I do. It's at Not Ian Sands, and my name is Ian Sands. And I just made Not Ian Sands because I thought it was clever or something. I don't know. It's not very clever. Hey, it's V. Hi, V. Her question is, do you ever physically storyboard your motion graphics or edits before you do them? Sometimes. It's much easier to storyboard for production. It's much more difficult to storyboard for editing. It's easier to storyboard for motion graphics. So, you know, sometimes what I'll do in After Effects, for example, is I'll just do a very, very quick like wireframe video where it's like, okay, I want this to scale up and then scale back down. And then I want text to come in and land on top of this thing. So hold on, I'm going to put this back on. And then I want text to fly in on top of this thing when it scales. So then I will just do something like this, like very, very quick kind of storyboarding, quote unquote. So then when I watch back through it, I'm like, okay, is there something to this? Yes or no, where you just do it really, really fast. And then from there, you can start refining it and start doing like a lot more intricate stuff. So kind of storyboarding, I guess, in a way, but not like traditional storyboarding. Do I find myself using After Effects for most of your effects, even though a lot can be done in Premiere? Yes, I do. Hold on, my wife is texting me. Well, fiance. I'm getting married in February. Mazel tov to me. Do I find myself using After Effects for everything? Yes, I do. Just because the user interface inside of After Effects is so much better than Premiere, and like it's just easy to do quick things like motion blur, for example, like turning on motion blur inside of After Effects and just enabling it on these layers, and now all of this has motion blur like when it's moving. I don't know, it's, to me, it's just so much nicer to use the After Effects user interface than it is to use Premiere. And then what I'll do is I'll either export directly out of After Effects and import into Premiere, or I will dynamic link out from Premiere into After Effects and just work that way. That seems to be the best. But yeah, I love After Effects. 1Pass versus 2Pass. So that's when you export. Thank you for all the congratulations. Thank you. 1Pass VBR, 2Pass VBR. What does that mean? 1Pass, Premiere is just going to export once. It's going to go through the thing and it's going to connect all the ones and zeros, and it's just going to do it one time. 2Passes is it's going to go through and do a second pass of all the ones and zeros. If you're doing a lot of like effects and like graphics heavy stuff and like all that stuff, I would recommend using 2Pass. If you're just doing regular video, 1Pass is probably going to be fine for you. And VBR is variable bitrate versus constant bitrate. If you just use like the YouTube presets in Premiere, I know that sounds stupid, but those kick out just fine quality videos. How do you choose parts of a video to use in your edit? Suppose you have 10 clips and you want to cut all the stuff that's worth the edit. It's confusing. Yeah, I mean, I think that just happens over time. I'm pretty ADD with all of my video stuff, so I just want to like get to the point and get it done quick. So all of my edits will kind of be reflective of that, but I think that just comes with time and understanding kind of like what you actually need out of the video versus what you want to keep in. How can I use edit the background of a clip with green background? It's called chroma. Yes. So if you shoot anything on a green screen, which let me download a clip real quick. So let me log in here. And I'm going to search green screen. Okay, we'll download this one. All right. So now I have this crowd of people that are cheering in front of a green screen. So if you shoot anything on a green screen, oh shit. All right, we're doing a quick chroma key tutorial here. All right, so now I have my profile picture. There you go. I'm going to make it big, fill the frame. And now I'm going to drop in this crowd over top of it. And I want my picture to be in front of all these little people that are cheering. So what am I going to do here? So I'm going to come up to Effects and Presets. I'm going to type in Key. And under Image Utilities, there is Key Light plus Key Cleaner plus Advanced Spill Suppressor. And all you have to do is drop this After Effects preset directly onto your green screen layer. You're going to take your color picker and you're just going to pick the chroma key. Boop. And there you go. Now we've green screened that out. And if I zoom in here See this little green halo around the outside? This is where the advanced spill suppressor is going to come into play. All I have to do is turn it on inside of After Effects, and it will get rid of the little green outline around the outside of my clip. So the advanced spill suppressor is not normally on in After Effects, but you can just turn it on, and now you are doing advanced spill suppression. And now I have these little people dancing in front of my profile picture, which I guess is cool. Or not. Probably not. That's a really quick chroma key tutorial. How do you copy and paste clips in your timeline into an empty track instead of a track that already has something on it? That's actually a great question. Near run. So he wants to know how to copy and paste clips onto a track that's empty instead of a track that already has something on it. So very simply, if you copy something in Adobe Premiere, see this little V1 over here on your video? All you have to do is turn on another video layer and make sure that this V1 on the left-hand side is selected on your empty layer. And just this V1 on the left is going to determine where... No, sorry. You just have to turn off the layer that you don't want. So if I want to paste this on V2, all I have to do is turn off V1, and now I'm able to paste that on V2. If I turn on V3 and turn off V2, now I'm pasting on V3. So you just have to make sure that this little indicator on your video track is selected for where you want to paste it. And that's how you do it. I don't think it has anything to do with the V1 on the left. GG. And see, if I were doing a YouTube video and I was talking about that, I would have edited the part out where I screwed it up. But because it's live, you know, it's live. I had to chroma key a scene where the actress was wearing reflective gloves. You can imagine the fuss I made. Yes, that sounds awful. Thank you, V. Happy holidays to you as well. Cheers to you, Dr. Hans Brewery. So Snap is asking, what's the best way to highlight stuff in a video, like where everything is kind of gray washed out and only important stuff is in normal color? As a text example. Okay, let's see. Let me download quickly, like news article. Okay. So we're just going to save this onto the desktop. And I'm going to... Oh, it's a GIF? Why the frick? All right, there we go. That's a JPEG. Perfect. So I'm going to import this into After Effects. Sorry, this is taking so long. So he wants to know how to highlight something where everything is in black and white, except for something that you want highlighted in color. Okay, here we go. What we can do is we can add an adjustment layer to our composition. And then I'm going to add a contrast and saturation adjustment to the adjustment layer. And then I'm going to... Nope, that is the wrong thing. Oh, hue and saturation. There we go. Hue and saturation. I'm going to desaturate. So now everything's in black and white. And then I'm going to take my mask and I'm just going to highlight the part of the clip that I want to stay in color. And then I'm going to switch my mask from add to subtract. And now just that thing will be in color. And then you can do that for... Then you can do that for other areas as well. You can just keep adding masks to an area of your video to do it like that. So that's pretty easy. Hi, bro. I follow you from Azerbaijan. Wow, that's pretty cool. Do I think Premiere has what it takes to edit an audio clip in different ways? Yes, absolutely. How to copy a sequence from one project file to another without duplicating the data in Premiere. That's a pretty good question. I don't know if you... I'd have to look into that. I don't want to answer that right now because I don't think I have the right answer because they changed that recently in Adobe Premiere 2019. Why did I switch from Mac to Windows? Very simply, MSI sent me a computer for my YouTube channel and they were like, hey, we want you to review this computer. And I was like, sick. And they sent it to me and they said I could keep it at the end, which was super cool. And PC, I was never really a believer in because I really like the Mac like OS, like the way it looks. But PC is really nice because hypothetically, a new insane CPU comes out. I can just buy it and stick it in this computer, or I can update my graphics card and stick it in this computer. I can add a graphics card. I can add liquid cooling or air cooling to my, like, you can upgrade and make it very modular, which is something that you can't do on Mac. And that's something that's kind of important to me these days. Have I seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? No, but I want to because I heard it's dope. Hard drive management. How many disks should be used for the best performance? The best performance is going to be your fastest hard drive. So I work entirely off of my M drive, which is a solid state hard drive that I have in my computer. So it's a 256 gig solid state drive. And so I just work entirely off of that for all of my projects because it's not going to break or like get corrupted, right? Because at solid state, there's no moving parts. So everything I do is off that solid state drive. And then I move everything over once it's done to my archive drive, which is a 10 terabyte platter drive. So it's like a moving part hard drive. So that technically could fail at some point. But then I will, you know, at the end of every month, I'll go and I'll back up all of my projects to Dropbox. So I at least have all of that. Here's something funny. I was going to do a YouTube channel called Brotivational before I did learn how to edit stuff. And it was going to be like, yeah, bro, I'm here to motivate you, but it's Brotivational and not motivational. But then I gave that idea up pretty quick. Thumbs up. Is the same possible in Premiere as Snap? Yes, it is. You can also do it in Premiere. How to accurately lip sync the dub voice and dialogues. I do it by listening to each frame carefully and matching my dub. Is that the right way? I think it's just about doing multiple takes until you get it right. How often do you have to do that? That seems strange. Can you make a tutorial on how to edit videos like the channel Business Casual? Yes, I will check it out. How does the dynamic link work between Premiere and After Effects? It works like this. I have a ball that's moving scale in Premiere, right? Cool. I'm going to right click on this, go to replace with After Effects composition. And now I'm going to click over into After Effects. It's asking me to save my project. So I'm just going to save as test. And then it will literally import that exact same thing with all the scaling into After Effects. So now I'm in After Effects. And now I can take this and I can start messing with it and doing a bunch of various things. And then when I click back over into Premiere, now you see that I have a linked composition on my timeline. So I'm going to come over here to After Effects and I'm going to add a solid to this. And I'm going to drop it underneath my ball layer. And now when I go back over into Premiere, it should, in theory, update with all of the new information that's coming from After Effects. And even if I wanted to come over here and I wanted to adjust the position data, and I want to make this scale up faster, and I'm just going to move position to over here now. So now this ball is scaling and moving to the right. Now in Premiere, I can go back in and it will automatically update my timeline with what's going on in After Effects. So that is the Premiere to After Effects dynamic link in a nutshell. How can I create a VHS aesthetic in Premiere? This goes back to the favorite plugin question of mine, which is Red Giant Universe. It is $99 a year, and I can very simply just drop Red Giant Universe onto this, the VHS effect, and now I can just adjust my presets and have it look like a VHS tape, and it literally took like 2 seconds. So Red Giant Universe. Baller plugin, people. Well, I do a how to edit like Nerdwriter video. Yes. How do you do a... How to do the slide transition in Adobe? Like sliding from one video to another? Is that what you're saying? Do you ever perform dubbing for your videos? If yes, how do you sync the voices? No, I don't ever do dubbing for my videos. I do them all with the mic recording directly how I said it. Any way to make transitions in After Effects that I can drop into the composition in between clips rather than having to make one manually each time I want it? Yeah, so there's a way to do it, obviously. Because with like the Motion Bro thing, I don't know if you guys ever saw my video on that. The Motion Bro transitions. There is a way to do it. I'll look into it. I'll look into it more because I think that this would be a really useful video to have, actually. So I'll do a full video on that. Jake Fox asks, hi, have you ever heard of VSDC? If so, would you say it's good? I've never heard of it, unfortunately. What is VSDC? Video editor used by millions. Award-winning software. I've never heard of it, but based on the screenshots, it looks like Adobe Premiere from like 1998. Can you do more audio editing tutorials? Your reverb lesson blew my mind. Thanks a million. Yeah, sure. I can definitely do that for you guys. You ask, you receive. That's how it works at Learn How to Edit Stuff. Thank you. Call me Rix. Call me Rix. That's what it is. 12 years old, inspired by me. Thank you. I appreciate it. If you want to grow up and be a video editor just like me, work hard, learn as much as possible, and be open to feedback. Those are my 3 points that I can give you. Hey. Yeah, transitioning from one video to the next. So, here we go. You can do it by keyframing. This is going to be the most basic version of this that I can show you. So, he's asking how to slide transition from one video to the next. So check this out. I'm going to make a new solid, and this is going to be a red solid. And for all intents and purposes, this is going to be video 1. Okay? Now I'm going to center that with my composition. This is video 1, and now I'm going to make a new solid, and it's going to be blue. My God. And you guessed it, this is going to be video... Oh, shit. Video 2. Okay. Now, what I can do is I can take video 2. Actually, we're going to mute this real quick. Actually, we're going to take this and I'm going to push it over to the side, out of frame, right? So there's video 2, just hanging off on the side of my video. Just like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take video 1 and I'm going to animate it 10 frames and I'm going to push it out of frame. There you go. And at the same time, I'm going to take video 2 and I'm going to push it in frame. Just like this. There you go. And now I'm transitioning the videos together, and by the power of motion blur, I can motion blur the 2 together, and now we are just transitioning from video 1 to video 2, just like so. And it only took a couple keyframes. You would love it if I did more meme edits, huh? Everybody would love more meme edits, but yes, I will look into it. What was my first big project? Ooh. God, I don't even know. It's a good question. You could use the parent tool for video too. Yes. So Luca is saying instead of doing separate keyframes for each, I could parent video 2 to video 1. So let me show you what he means by that. So I could take this and I'm going to pre-comp it for all intents and purposes here. And I'm going to just parent that to video 1. So now when video 1 moves... Ooh, wait. Does that work? Oh, I know why. Because this actually needs to be here. Ha ha ha. Actually, I don't know if that works. Oh, maybe it does, because then this would have to be... I guess this would have to be here, and now it'll work? Yeah, okay. So you can, you can parent video 2 to video 1 so that when video 1 moves, it also moves video 2. So that's a way to do it. Correct. Beautiful destination reveal title. I will look into it. Can I show tricks with masking? I have a few videos on that. I recommend watching them. Masking tutorials. What are the specs of my PC? I think I have 64 gigs of RAM and 86. Well, how do I look at specs? This PC? Properties? So I have an Intel Core i7-8700K CPU, which is liquid cooled. I have 32 gigs of RAM, not 64. I'm running Windows 10 Pro 64-bit, and I have a 1080 NVIDIA 1080 graphics card in my computer. When did I start video editing? Love from the Netherlands. Yeah, I love the Netherlands. I started editing video when I was probably 13 years old. When I was like just before freshman year of high school. My Spotify? Are you asking to change the track? Change the track for you. A little aggressive. My thoughts on Foundry Nuke. Yeah, if you're doing like visual effects compositing and like a bunch of crazy shit, Nuke is apparently amazing, but I don't do visual effects compositing. So I don't really use it. Will I do live sessions regularly? Yeah, if I have time. I enjoyed this. I'm actually going to head out in a moment. I have to eat. I am hungry. I've been streaming for an hour and a half. All I've had is coffee. Oh, he was asking the link to my Spotify. To the playlist I'm listening to? It's my Discover Weekly. Can I share this? I don't know if this will work. Let's see. Oh God, that did not work at all. Hold on. Hold on. Delete, you stupid piece of garbage. Share. Copy playlist link. There you go. Smooth speed ramping in After Effects. That's a video for another time. Do I play PUBG? I used to. I play Fortnite and Overwatch. Those are my two games that I've been playing the most. Fortnite and Overwatch. Holler. All right, guys. I think this is where we end the stream because I need to eat. I am hungry. Do I still write music? If yes, where do I post it? I do still write music. I don't post it anywhere publicly. I just do it for myself these days. But you are welcome for the live session. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been fun. Apologies for not posting a video this week. The holidays and everything has just made my schedule a little wonky. So apologies for not posting a video, but next week we'll be back at it. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. I'm sorry, Tats. I'm sorry. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Happy non-denominational holiday spirit. From Learn How to Edit Stuff to you. Thank you. Cheers. Coffee cheers to all of you out there. Happy holidays, and I will see you next time.